Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Night Live with me, Jonny Lipsham, here at jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk, here in Scotland, capital of everything. Anyway, I hope everybody has had a great week. If you're not here on Wednesday for Songwriting Simplified, I hope you've had a fantastic week. For those of you that were at Songwriting Simplified on Wednesday, I hope you've had a great last half of the week. Hope you've had a good one. I've had a great one. It's been really, really good. Really very enjoyable weekend as well, which has been fantastic. I'm glad to be up and about a little bit more, gradually recovering from cellulitis, although it's still troublesome. It's still a little bit on the sore side, but you know, I'm managing. I'm getting through it. Again, we've got that no data thing going on, which I'm just kind of going to ignore for now until we stop broadcasting. And then, you know, if you guys start telling me that it's stopped, then I will try and do something about it. But at the moment, I think we're okay. All right, so we got a good bunch of questions in already. Sorry, I have an itchy nose. Sorry about that. Which I'm going to get to, and I'm also going to refer one of the questions to the last couple of shows that I've done, where we've covered the collaboration tools a little bit in quite a bit of detail. Because I know that the collaboration thing can appear to be a wee bit on the clunky side and a little bit complicated to get your head around. But the integration between Studio One and Persona Sphere, if you're a member, is fantastic. If you're not a member of Persona Sphere, you only get part of the benefit of it. You can still collaborate with somebody, providing they are a member of Persona Sphere. You can collaborate with them. All you need is a free mypersonas.com account. You just sign up for that, and once you've created that, then you can be invited to the workspace, and once you've accepted that, then you're good to go. However, it only kind of partially works. You only have some of the functionality. Otherwise, you know, there'd be no benefit to, you know, selling a Persona Sphere membership if you could just make it work without it. So you only get some of the features. You don't get the whole thing. So that might be some of what you're experiencing, because I know that's Christopher's question. I am going to do questions tonight. We've got a few already, but if you've not got a question in, get your question in now. Type at Jonny Lipsham Studios before your question, and what that does is that highlights my name in red, and then that way I can pick out the questions from among the general chat, so I don't have to go looking for it. I don't miss your questions. I don't want to miss your questions. Your questions are really important to me, and I want to make sure that I get to them, and I try and answer as many as I can in the hour that we have. So yeah, if you are a member of Persona Sphere, then you have access to all of the collaboration tools, and as I said, the integration is even better now with Studio One 6.1. Got to make sure that you are running Studio One 6.1 to get all of the additional things like the notifications, and you know, being able to receive and send receive files really, really easily, and join workspaces really, really easily from that little notification filter. But otherwise, there is actually a send and receive feature that's already built in via the file menu system. So if you just go to File, you'll see a collaboration option. You click on that, and then you get a drop down for send, receive, and join. So like most things in Studio One, there are several ways to get at the same feature set, and that's true with the collaboration tools. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that question. So let's first of all see who's here. And I think Ronald was the first one in the house, followed by Dave from Bops NY, who has the first question, which we're going to get to in just a minute. Christopher Marachna is here as well. And Kevin from Kevin's Guitar Stories is here. Dwayne is here. Carl Chadriziak is here. Ronald Figura has a question. we'll get to that as well. And Studio One Tuts, that's my good friend Rich. He is here twice, under his own name and also his brand, Studio One Tuts, which is awesome, by the way. You should go check that out because basically it is going to be epic. I mean, it's already, there's some good stuff available there already, but it's what he's got going is going to be really, really cool. Sean Aaron is here. Billy Morgan is here. Old School Fungus Soul is here as well. And Sean Aaron, I think I said. Simon Carpenter is waving. He is here as well. Hello to you, my friend. Let's see. Kev Riddle is here from Australia. Wow, we've got people in Australia. Awesome. I'm glad you're here, Kev. Great to see you. And Bobby Booth is here, which means we can actually get started now. And Rich Cresswell is telling me everything is fine. Yeah, it's weird. When we start the show, it says excellent connection in YouTube Studio. It says excellent connection, and then after a couple of minutes, it says no data. And it stays saying no data for like ages. So it's like it's not receiving any data. So it's weird. I don't know what's going on there. I have reported it to YouTube. So hopefully they will take a look and get it resolved. Ronald says, I've been doing some collab stuff with Christopher. Cool. Okay. That's good to know. And Lowenz is here as well. Orbix is here. Who else do we have? And I think I've got to the bottom of the list. So if you're new here and you're watching and you have not subscribed to the channel yet, you're going to need to do that if you want to ask a question. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell and select all notifications. That way you don't miss a single show and you don't miss any of the other videos that I've got coming out throughout the rest of this year. I've got some cool new stuff coming and I'm working very hard at it, and it's going to be really cool when I start delivering those out to the channel. So I don't want you to miss any of that stuff. So do make sure that you're subscribed, you've got all notifications selected as well, because I post things in the community section as well. Like, for example, if I'm unable to do a show, I often put a post up in community saying, hey, not able to do a show for whatever reason. And if you've got all notifications selected, you'll get that notification. So you'll know, and you'll not kind of turn up here going, where's the show? What's going on? So I don't want that to happen to you. All right, so let's get into this. So we'll start with, we've kind of talked a little bit about Christopher's question. We'll get back to the collaboration question in just a minute, because Ronald's involved in that as well. But I want to start with Dave's question, because I pinned that. And he says, and this is more of a songwriting / arranging / composing question. So this is more appropriate for a Wednesday rather than a Sunday. But it's easy to answer. So I will deal with it. He says, I just saw a horn chart and saw dots under the notes to designate staccato notes. First time I noticed it. Is this common practice? Basically, with any articulations, you can either put them above the note or you can put them underneath the note. It kind of depends what's going on. Depends if there's other musical instructions above the notes, in which case it makes sense to put the articulations underneath the notes. And also if the stems are down, sometimes you want to put the articulations on top of the stems underneath the note heads. Sometimes you might want to put them above the note heads as well. So it depends what's practical, depending upon how much stuff you've got on the page. So whilst there are some accepted conventions, where you put articulations is kind of open, really. You can either put them above the note or below the note. And most people know that. So most performers, when they see that, they'll just, to be honest, they'll see the note head, they'll see, they'll see the pitch, they'll see the rhythm, and they'll see the articulation, and they will play it. It's as simple as that. But, if you put it to the side of the note, not going to work. And most scoring software will only allow you to put the articulation either above or below. Because there are two different kind of ways of doing it. So neither is wrong. Both are just as correct as each other. So that should answer that question. So the next question was to do with Christopher and collaboration. So we opened the show talking about that. So let's talk about that just a little bit more, because I have already done a couple of shows where we've talked about collaboration features in Studio One. So I will go over what I did a little bit more again, just to be sure that you guys have got this. So let's go over to Studio One, and we'll put my webcam on. There we go. So the key thing here is, if you are a member of PreSonus, and I'm going to assume for this example that both parties in the collaboration are members of PreSonus, because if you are, you have the full benefits of the collaboration tools. All right, so when you click on this here, when you hover over it, it says PreSonus account. All right, so this is your direct link from Studio One to your account, which has not hereto ever existed in Studio One. So this is a first for Studio One in its entire sort of 12, 13-year history. And so when you click this, you have the option to edit your profile, you have the option to sign out, but you also get these notifications. This is new. This is brand spanking new to Studio One 6.1. So as you can see here, this folder that I'm working on with Christina, who I don't think is here tonight, she and I are working on a blues tune together. And so she's doing a bit of piano playing, she's doing a bit of singing, and I'm doing a bit of other things to kind of do, you know, flesh out the arrangement a bit. So she's updated this. I'm already part of this collaboration. So because I'm already part of it, I can hit this button here. And what this will do, I'm not going to do it because I've already done this. I've already done this a couple of times. But when I hit this button, a dialog box comes up and it just says, hey, these are the files that will be dropped into this, that will be downloaded and received into the song that we are both working on. Here's the key thing about the collaboration. It exists in two places. It exists locally on your computer. So in this case, on my computer, and also Christina's computer. We both have the same song, okay? But it also exists in the workspace in PreSonus, so effectively on the cloud, okay? So what happens here is anytime something gets added to the song, either by me or by Christina, when we save it, we can also send. So if I go File, Collaboration, and I hit send, let's say this is the song that we're working on. If I hit send, it's grayed out just now because this is not a collaboration song. But if I hit send, then these tracks are going to be sent to the workspace. And then what will happen is when Christina starts up Studio One, she will get a little notification over her avatar here. Right? It'll just be a red number. So when she clicks on that, like I have here, she will see folder Blues Pop was updated by Jonny, me. And she will see description of what's happened, and she will be able to click this receive button. When she clicks this receive button, those things that I have added to the song here will be available to her to download to her song. And she'll have exactly the same files, I'll have exactly the same files. So that's how it works. So it's really hard for me to actually demonstrate it without actually, you know, kind of working with somebody directly whilst we're doing the show. And also being able to show it from their perspective. Like if Christina was here and I was able to share her screen as well, she'd be able to show how it works from her perspective as well as from mine. So she'd be able to say, I'm adding these new vocal parts, and she hits save, and then she hits send, and all of that, and I get to receive those new parts into the song. And that's how it works. So what happens is this, because you might be thinking, are you not going to get like hundreds and hundreds of different versions of the same song in Studio One on your computer? You'd think that, but you'd be wrong. Studio One is smart. And our development team are even smarter than that. Here's what happens. What happens is the old version of the song gets removed and the new version with the new files gets downloaded to the local space on your computer. That's how it works fundamentally. So anytime you send something, the old song gets replaced by the new, it overwrites, and you've got the new files and the new song. And then you can carry on working together. And that's how it works. Okay? So you both got to be a member of the same workspace in order for this kind of collaboration to work. So you could start a song, like I could start this song here. Okay? And what I could do here is I could go collaboration. I could go and I could share this. I could just hit the share button like this. And then I could pick a workspace and then add it to that workspace and say, hey, anybody want to collaborate on this blues song here? So I could, I could select any one of these workspaces that I'm a part of. Like I could select this one. This one's one of mine. And then I could select the folder. I could invite other people. I've got this vocoder song, which is already, this is one of my songs. This is one of the songs I did for Studio One 6.0 to demonstrate the vocoder. I could go and open up that vocoder song and I could update it. Or I could, like with this song, I could just start a brand new collaboration with somebody in one of these workspaces. And I could just select the workspace, and then I could hit select. And all of that. And see, now it's ready to go. But I'm going to cancel that because I don't want to do that with this particular song. I'm not ready to do that yet. But that's how it works. So you then hit start and it creates the whole new collaboration, and then whomever is in that workspace can start working with you on that song. So you don't have to create a new workspace to do a new collaboration. You can do. You don't have to. You can have different songs on the go with, let's say you have a songwriting team and there's 4 or 5 of you and you work together as a team. You might be working on different songs. You can do that. You can keep working in the same workspace on several different collaborations. You don't just have to start a new one to start a new collaboration. So that's one of the other questions that people have about this. This is very cool. It's still a little bit new. So there are going to be some kinks that are going to be worked out. And there also are going to be new features added to this going forward because it's still pretty new. So be honest with you, be very excited if you like collaborating with people and you like working with other people and you like the workspace's functionality of Pressonosphere, because it's going to get better. New features will be added, new functionality will come to it. And it will get better and better. And the integration between Studio One and the workspace is just going to get deeper and deeper. All right. So look forward to that. Enjoy what we have just now, but look forward to how it's all going to go in the future. So there, kind of hope that answers that question. All right. Pack folder is the other question. And I think that was Ronald Figura's question. How can you show how to pack a folder? I can show you that, and I can show you also how to assign it to a bus, which is pretty cool. All right, so let's create a new song to do this, because I don't want to mess up that particular song because it is a work in progress. So let's go back. So we got a new song here. Let's press T over here, and we'll just change this to Vox. And we'll go left, mono, and let's say we've got a bunch of background vocals, or we've got a choir. And we've created a whole bunch of tracks for the choir, and we want to put all of these into one folder, and then we're going to create a bus for it, and we'll call that choir. All right, so if I press that, hold shift, click on that, and then I can go pack folder. And you see where it says none here. I click on this, I can add a bus channel for it. And then what I can do is I can go to the mixer and I can close that and I can close that. And now we have our bus channel. And what I can do here is I can change the color of it. Let's change it to that garish color. But I can also call this choir. Okay, and now we've got a choir folder. And the cool thing is, when I click on this, I can open out all the channels. I can do whatever I need to do here. I can do whatever I need to do in the track view. I can do whatever I need to do in the mixer. And I can keep it nice and neat and tidy. I can close that up. I can create other channels. I can create other buses for different things. Have them all packed as folders. So if I've got, for example, if I've got a rhythm section, piano, bass, drums, 2 guitars, I will create the necessary channels and tracks for those. I will pack those into a folder and I'll give it a, I will assign it to a bus. I will name that bus band bus or rhythm bus. And in that way, I've got choir, I've got rhythm section. And then let's say we've got a string orchestra as well. Well, then I'll want violins, violas, cellos, and maybe some double basses as well. But maybe just violins, violas, and cellos. So that's 3 strings sections. Well, I can have a folder packed for each one, depending upon how many microphones are being used to record those. And then I can pack each one into its own folder. So I can have a violins folder with a bus and a viola folder with a bus and a cello folder with a bus. Same deal. And then I can put all of those into one bus called strings bus. And then that way, this mixer view just has essentially 3 or 4 folders and not a whole lot to see. And then I just open them out when I need to do something. So when I want to, do some reverbs or I want to do some EQ and compression, I can do all of that in there, and then I can close that up and then I can work on the next one however I want to mix. And that way it keeps the mixer nice, clean, tidy, smart looking. This whole being able to do bus folders is really, really handy. It's so much better than what we used to do a couple of versions of Studio One ago, where you didn't have that. You didn't have the folder track. You didn't have those. So you couldn't assign a bus to them. So basically you had to use the views a little bit more. So when you open this guy here, there's a bus view here. And you used to be able to, basically what you had to do was create all your buses and then select this so that the only thing you saw in the mixer was the bus. And you would constantly be having to flip between these views and buses and all of that. It was just a little bit fiddly and a little bit clumsy. It's not now. It's super smart and it's super efficient, and it makes for very, very fast mixing, very tidy mixing, and just it keeps everything very, very, very efficient in my view. Good question though. Let's see, what else do we have? Kevin says it'd be nice to show how to set it up on Sphere, create a new workspace and show how that's done. Yeah, I've actually done that in my Studio One 6 playlist. There's a video that covers exactly how you do it in the Persona Sphere side of things. But creating workspaces is super duper easy. If you've never created a workspace before, it's super duper easy. So you basically, log in, you get into Persona Sphere, you click on workspaces. This is your workspaces view. These are my workspaces, and these are ones that I'm collaborating in. Okay. So if I want to create a new one, then I just click on add, I give it a name, streaming, for example, and then we'll just submit that. Now we've created a new workspace. It's all set here. And then I can go back over to Studio One. And let's say this is the song that I want to share and work with collaborators in that. So I can go collaboration, I can go share, And I'll just go yes. And then I will find that workspace. Let's refresh the list. Why is it not showing up? Why is it not showing up? I do not see that new workspace that I just created. Yeah, that's odd. I don't know why that's happening. It's not showing my new workspace that I just created. Workspace is there. So it's there. It's definitely there. I've definitely created it. Go back. Manage workspaces. You do not have access to that workspace. Well, I do, because I just made the damn thing. Okay, that's a little weird. That shouldn't happen. I don't know why that's happening. But yeah, creating a workspace in PersonaSphere is dead easy. I don't know why that error message is coming up. I'm going to have to get that looked into tomorrow. That might be a little bug. Possibly. But I'll get that looked into tomorrow in a little bit more detail with Dave Coffin and John Hillman. And we'll figure out why that's happened, because I've just created a brand new workspace. So it should allow me to select it, but it's not for whatever reason. I don't know why that is. Strange. But anyway, regardless, once you've created your workspace and you're ready to work in it, then once you see it listed in here, then you just select that workspace. And then you hit select, like I showed you just a few minutes ago, actually. It's pretty much exactly the same, but I don't know why it didn't do it. I don't know why it didn't do it. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why it didn't do it, but it didn't do it. Maybe it just needs a few minutes to populate. I don't know, something like that. But if that's the issue that you guys are encountering, Kevin says, this happened to me yesterday and I still can't see it. Okay. Rich says it's working my end and I can create a collaboration from Studio One too. Yeah. Well, for whatever reason, it's not working for Kevin and it's not working for me. So I don't know what's gone wrong there, but something has gone wrong. It may well be it's something to do with cached files, something like that must be going on. If it's working for Rich and he's able to create a collaboration, then it must be working fine. I suspect that there may be some cached file things going on somewhere, something like that. But I should be able to create a collaboration from here. I should be able to go to share. Huh. See, there's the Modal Blues one now. That just appeared. That's the one that we did earlier. That's interesting. That's the one that I bailed on. I don't know why that suddenly appeared there, but it's there. So that's interesting. So that actually appears to have worked. It just took a little bit of time. So maybe it's a question of cached files. Maybe that's exactly what's going on here. But that's the one that we did just a few minutes ago, and it worked. So there's the Modal Blues that we did a few minutes ago. That has now appeared in test space. So this actually worked. So that's in that workspace. So if I go over to that workspace, which is, where is it? Test space. So I should be able to go over to files. There it is. So there's, and that file is empty at the moment because I bailed on it. I backed out. And then there's some other folders there as well. But there's that's the one that we did earlier that I cancelled, but it still created the folder. So that's interesting. So it did actually work fundamentally. But for whatever reason, in here, it hasn't worked. And it's still not showing in the list here. So it's got to be something to do with files being cached. So I don't know. But it shouldn't like be taking 24 hours or 48 hours. That's just bizarre. So I don't quite understand why that is, but it should, I mean, you saw it. I created that collaboration here. So I created this collaboration here directly out of Studio One. So we know that it works. But for whatever reason, creating it the other way round, starting in Persona Sphere, and then doing it that way round, doesn't appear to have been added to the workspaces list yet. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I will come into work tomorrow. I will log in and I will see that streaming workspace is created here. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But fundamentally, that is how it works, and it does work. Because we got it working with the Modal Blues collaboration. I started that with the test space, and it worked. So that one definitely worked. Quite why the other one hasn't worked, I don't know. Anyway, Christina is here, which is very cool. I'm glad she's here. Awesome. Is there a way to tie the deletion of a folder track / bus folder in both the console and the arranger at the same time? That's a good question. Let's try. So if I do remove, it removes the bus, but it doesn't remove the folder up here. You're quite correct. So all that does is remove the bus folder. It unpacks the folder and deletes the folder. It doesn't actually delete the channels. So it doesn't do that all at once. You're right. It doesn't. So that would be a feature request. Definitely. All right. Any other questions, guys? Because we're only halfway through the show. So I just deleted that just to show, because I realized I didn't show that. So if I Control Z that, I didn't want to do that. I want to go over here and Control Z. All right, so that put my bus back. So my folder bus is here. But if I remove it here, does it remove it down there? No, it doesn't. All it does is just remove the folder. So if you right click and remove, all it does is remove the folder. It doesn't actually do anything. It unpacks the folder and deletes the folder, but it doesn't delete the contents. I suspect that might be for a good reason, so you don't accidentally delete the contents of the folder. Don Oliver says, how do you get your collaborators to work on your project? I've just kind of explained that, or at least I thought I had. And certainly on the last show, I thought I had explained it. That once you are both in the same workspace, a folder is created. I go back over that again. For example, in Christina and mine, here's our folder, and here's the folder that we started. So there's the song that we are both working on. And there's the history, media, and bounces folder. All of that is necessary to work with. But basically, we created this workspace. And then what we did, if I go back to Modal Blues over here, what we did then is you go File, Collaboration, and you either share or you send and receive. So in this case, because I've already done the share part, the folder is in the test space workspace. It's already there. So I just need to send these files because they've not been sent yet. And then once they're sent, you see all the files and you see the song created in the workspace folder. Okay? So once they are all in there, it's effectively like you have sent a song folder to somebody else via email, except you've not done it that way. You've done it through the workspace. So once this part is done, it goes up into the workspace. Whomever is joined to that workspace, so they are a member of that workspace, they can be a part of that song. And what they can do is they can see in their notifications, they should get a notification, and they should see a receive, or they should see a join. So I think I've got one further down here that I can show you. Yeah, for example here, this folder I'm not a part of. It is in a workspace that I'm a part of, but it is not a collaboration that I'm actively involved with. So if I click on this join button, then what will happen is I will now have access to that song, and I can receive that song and all of its files, and I can open it up in Studio One and I can start doing stuff with it. Okay, so this is a workspace that I'm already involved with. It's called Padded Cell. And this is a song that some of my Personas colleagues are working on, because this is a Personas workspace. Basically, this is where Persona staff collaborate, by the way. And then this is one of the songs that is in there that other people are working on. I'm not involved in it, but I've still got a notification because I'm part of that workspace. So if I want to be involved in that collaboration, I can click join. Now, when I join, I then get to receive the song and all of the files. And then I have that in Studio One. So how do I get access to that? Well, in Studio One, on the start page, you get this little tab here called Shared. And as you'll see here, these are all collaborations that I have and I'm involved with. Okay? But also, if you click on the Songs tab over here, I can click on Shared. There, you can see there's the blues pop song that I've been working on with Christina. Songs, blues pop. So it is on my computer. So what I can do is I can open up this song and I can add something to it, like a bass part or another keyboard part or a flugelhorn part, or I could get my saxophone out and add a sax part. I could do all of that, and then I could save the song, and then it will automatically upload to the folder that is in the workspace that I showed you earlier. And then Christina will get a notification up here, and she will have this, and she'll have this receive button. And then she can click receive, and she'll receive the files that I have added to that song. And that's how it works. So it's literally like directly emailing the files to somebody else, except it's all working through the cloud. It's all working through the workspaces. And it's integrated directly inside of Studio One. So I don't even need to log in to Persona Sphere at all. I don't need to go anywhere near it. I can do it all from here, because that is what this was all designed for Persona Sphere, and extending the collaboration tools. So you can easily join, send, and receive directly from here. Or rather, you can join and receive. I don't think you send from here, but you certainly join and receive. But when you want to send files, that's what the File Collaboration Send button is for. When you hit that, you get to see exactly what files you are about to send and where they are going to, which workspace they're going to, which song they're going to, etc., etc. and then you hit start and off it goes. And that's how it works. So you need to have people who have joined that folder in your workspace in order for them to be able to receive the files. If they have not joined that folder, they may well have joined the workspace. They may well be a part of that workspace, but if they have not joined that collaboration, then they won't get any of the files. They have to join it. All right, so I hope you guys understand that. It's important to pretty much get that. So Rich says here, going back to the deleting folders, bus folders, that kind of thing. He says, pretty much the expected behavior for me is delete the folder, bus folder, and it empties the contents as is and removes the aforementioned folder. That is correct. That's exactly how it works. Basically, it just removes the folder. It does not remove the contents of the folder. And I think that's wise, and I think that is good, because if it did anything else, there would be a real danger that you would delete the contents of the folder. You don't want to do that. I mean, obviously there's the undo button, but you still don't want to do it fundamentally. You don't want to accidentally delete everything that is in the folder, like literally taking a file off the filing cabinet and throwing it in the bin. Yes, you can go into the bin and you can grab it and you can put it back on the shelf, but you don't want to do that. Pain in the butt. So essentially what you really want to do, or this is the way it's designed, it's like literally going, I'm taking this file off the shelf, I'm taking the contents out, and I'm throwing the file in the bin, but putting the contents back on the shelf. That's how it works at the moment, and I think that's how it should work. I think that's the best way for it to work. But I can see why you might want to be able to delete the contents as well. There will be certain circumstances where you might want to. Good question, though. Let's see. Don is saying here. Let's see what's going on here. Ronald says, do you mean no members are responding and or participating? He says yes. Maybe ask a specific person for a specific thing. Yeah, that would probably be the solution, is just make some, the cool thing about the workspace is not only is it there for you to add files to it, but you can also talk to each other in the workspace. So you can say, hey guys, not really seeing a whole lot of activity going on in this collaboration. Are we all still up for this? Or are you working on stuff for this? If so, let me know. So you can do that kind of stuff. Rich says, when it comes to collaborating, you just need to be organized. The principle of sharing files this way is fairly elementary. Join, share, participate. Correct. Correct. That's it. It's, from that point of view, it's pretty simple. But I can understand why the workflow aspect of it might be confusing for some people. But it's not. It's a lot more simple than you think. If you start overthinking it, then yes, you will go, I don't understand how this works. So the secret is, it's just you join, you share files, you participate, you join that folder, you join that collaboration in the workspace. And then when you do that, you receive files, you can add to the song, you can send the files back. Other people will hit the receive button. They will get those files. They will add their parts. They will send their parts. You will all be able to update the song by hitting the receive button. The receive button just basically receives anything that has been added to that song by your other collaborators. And then if you're adding something new, you add your new thing, whatever it is on the piano, drums, bass, guitar, saxophone, kazoo, bagpipes, whatever it might be, butt trumpet, whatever it is. And then you go to collaboration send, you send those to the correct workspace, to the correct folder, and then all your other collaborators get a notification, and then they can just hit the receive button. They receive all of those files, And so it goes on until you're all happy with the work that you're doing. And that's how it works. It is as simple as that. Billy Morgan says there may be shite in the bin. Yes, there really may be shite in the bin. You know what? There is profound wisdom in there. And therefore, I am happy for that to be in all caps, because I think it deserves it. There may be shite in the bin. That is just utter wisdom. Definitely. All right, any other questions, guys? I know the collaboration thing has been a little tricky for folks to get their heads around. But like I said, I covered this in, I think I covered this last Sunday, and I think I may have touched upon it a little bit on Wednesday as well, because Songwriting Simplified. This kind of collaborative side of it is important because it does fall under the songwriting thing as well, especially if you're working on music together with somebody else. So, but unfortunately, it is really quite hard to demonstrate it in real time without somebody else being on the other end of it in real time and being able to share their screen in real time so that you can see it all. Without being able to do that, it's really hard to actually demonstrate it literally. All I can do is describe what happens and how it happens. Christopher says, do you keep a master copy outside of Studio One for your own? What, in general terms for songs, or are you kind of still talking about collaboration? In general terms, if I'm working with an artist and either I'm working in a collaboration or they are coming here literally to my studio, or for example, I am mixing a song, like for example, at the moment I'm mixing an album. I have all of their songs, and they are all on an external hard drive. And essentially what I do is I bring all of their audio tracks in, I mix their song, and I send a draft off to them. If they like it first time, brilliant. If, you know, they might want revisions and things. But here's the thing, once the final thing goes out and they sign off on it, I keep their songs. What I mean is I keep their Studio One sessions and I keep them on an external hard drive. The reason why I do that is because at some point down the line, it is entirely plausible that the artist might come back to me and say, hey, this song is making some headway. I've got a radio station that want to play it, but the song is 5 minutes long and they will only play 3.5 minutes. Well, if I no longer have that song, there's nothing I can do. I am screwed. I cannot work with them anymore. And I can't give them what they want. And I lose that client. However, because I still have their song, here's what I can do. I can say to the client, absolutely, we can do a 3.5 minute edit on the song. What is it you're happy to lose? Are you happy to lose the guitar solo or maybe that extra chorus? And they'll go, oh, we'll maybe cut the guitar solo in half and we'll maybe lose that last chorus. And I go, okay, that's fine. And here's what I'll do. I'll open up their song on that external drive. I'll open it back up in Studio One and I will make a new version of the song in Scratchpad. I'll make a new version of their song in Scratchpad that has the guitar solo cut in half and has that extra chorus deleted. And then I will do a mix down of that. And then I'll send that back to the client and then they can forward it onto the radio station and they get lots of airplay. And they send me the £120 for that job. Easy money. I'm just like going, okay, bump, 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 there, export, done. I can do it in 20 minutes. But if I didn't keep their song sessions, their Studio One song files, I would not be able to do that. So yes, in that particular instance, yes, I do keep their songs. Now, there are some artists that will say, please delete the sessions because they don't want me to have them. Because they think that I might propagate them elsewhere or I might take samples from their songs and do my own thing with them, which of course I would never do because that would be A, unprofessional, B, illegal, because I'd be using their intellectual property without their permission. So I would never do that. In collaborations to protect the original. Now, here's the thing. When you're sending and receiving files with your collaborators, you each have the song. The song exists in two places: your computer, the workspace, and your collaborator's computer. So if there are only two of you working on the project, then it exists on my computer, it exists on the workspace that we are in, and it exists on the collaborator's computer. So that's how it works. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. The collaboration just wouldn't work. So it has to exist in all of those locations in order for collaboration to actually happen. So yes, there is a version on this computer, there is a version in the workspace, and there's a version that my collaborator has. So in that sense, there is no master, but there is a community, if you like, community folder that is in the workspace. Communal folder, that's the word. Communal folder on the workspace. And that's where everybody is interacting in that space there, which is why we call it workspaces. So in that folder, that collaboration folder that is in the workspace, that is where everybody is working. So when you're sending and receiving, that's how it's going. It's going through that folder on the workspace. Okay, so that's why it has to exist there. It has to exist on your computer so that you can actually do the work on the song without parts missing. And it has to exist on your collaborator's computer as well so that they can work and they don't have any parts missing either. Okay, so in that sense, there is no master. But if it's your song and you feel very precious about that being the case, before you start the collaboration, then if you wish, what you might want to do is do File, Save to New Version, or Save to New Folder would be better. Save to New Folder. Because when you do that, it creates a brand new folder and everything else. And then you can have that as a completely separate, distinct folder that is on your computer that is not part of the collaboration. And then you use the other folder, the original folder, and you use that as the collaboration folder. You use that rather as the basis for your collaboration is what I mean. Okay? So I hope that helps. Just Bob says, great show, got to run. Dinner is ready. See you all on Songwriting Simplified this Wednesday. Most definitely, Bob. Glad you were able to be here. That is very cool. Yeah, Rich is here twice. He is here as Studio One Tuts and also as Rich Cresswell. Rich says it's just a shared folder of songs, samples, notes. From here, you may wish to have your own folder and share an MP3 or WAV to the main thread on your workspace when you're looking for feedback or ideas. And you can chat in there as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. So there are plenty of options to make this all work. And as Rich says, and you can keep your own song folder and your own files, your own ideas separate from everybody else. So basically you can have it so that your collaborators are only working in one folder. They don't get to touch any of the other stuff. So this is why I have a workspace that is mine. It's my personal workspace. That's where I do my stuff, my ideas. And I don't necessarily share that with other people. But I also have other workspaces where I'm working with other people. But yeah, just because you have a workspace, it does not mean that everybody has access to the collaboration folder. They don't necessarily. Only if they hit the join button. And really, they should be asking first before they hit the join button. They should be asking if they want, hey, is it okay if I can get involved in this? I would love to add a trumpet part or whatever. Then in that case, you can say, yeah, sure. Just hit the join button. Come join us. Common courtesies, are paramount here. Excuse me. That was not meant to pop out. I've been doing this show for 5 years and I have never burped on the show. I'm sorry about that, folks. That just popped out. Ronald says, use show track notes for clarification of track changes. Yes, you can definitely do that. Track notes are definitely a good thing that you can use. I'll tell you this. When they added that to Studio One 4, I was stoked because I was just like, I've been wanting track notes for ages because, you know, there's like track notes in Cubase and there's track notes in Pro Tools. And I was just like, why don't we have them? We should. It's sensible. It's logical. But we have that now. We've had that since 2018. So yeah, definitely make use of track notes for sure. Like, you know, if you want to say, hey, I used whatever particular microphone to record this vocal. And then that's information for whomever is mixing your song. They can go, oh, great. Okay, I know what that microphone sounds like. I know how I can EQ that to enhance, etc., etc. So definitely, that is definitely a good thing to do. And Rich says, I would recommend watching back on Jonny Lipsham Studios videos if you're not sure. Definitely. Absolutely. If you're not sure, if after this, you're still not sure about the whole collaboration process, last week's show, we went over them then as well. So last week's show will definitely help you. And my Studio One 6 playlist with the Studio One 6 video on collaboration, that will give you a good grounding on the basics of how collaboration works. And then, of course, there's Studio One 6.1 with the extended thing with the whole notifications. So my Studio One 6.1 video and the Studio One 6.0 video on the collaboration tools, those two videos will help you a lot. Watch them several times over until you get it. However many times it takes you, to be honest. That will definitely be a good idea. Let's see what else we got here. We are otherwise coming to the end of the show. The one person who I see is not here is Mike Johnson. I don't see, he might be lurking in the background and he may not be actually in chat, but Mike, if you're here, let me know. But otherwise, we're going to end the show here. Thank you very much, everybody, for your great questions. There's some absolute crackers there. And it seems clear to me that you guys still have some gaps in understanding about the collaboration tools in PreSonus and in Studio One 6.1. I hope I have been able to clear those up. If you still have questions, go watch the two videos that I just mentioned, and also watch the live stream from Sunday and also from Wednesday, because we kind of did a little bit on both shows. So go check those out. And also, you know, if you still got questions, or if there's a specific aspect of the collaboration that you want me to cover that you don't think I have covered, then drop me an email. Go down to the website at the bottom there, bottom of the screen, jonlipshamstudios.co.uk, hit the contact us button and fill out the form, and I will either reply to you by email, or I will take a look at exactly what it is that you're trying to do, and maybe I can do a short tutorial video on that. Okay? But otherwise, yeah, no Mike is here today. Yeah, I don't know why. Normally he would be here, so I hope he's okay. So otherwise, folks, I don't think there's going to be an after show Zoom. I don't think, by the look of it. But if somebody is up for hosting one, then drop the link to it in the chat and we can all hop over there. But otherwise, I will see you guys all on Wednesday for Songwriting Simplified. where we will be continuing to talk a little bit more about harmony and how you can add some spice to your chords to make them sound a little bit more interesting and a little bit more exciting, and how you can, create some extra tension, and all the while keeping it simple, keeping it to 3 notes in your right hand, 1 note in your left hand on a keyboard, or if you're on a guitar, doing this little thing will create some simple but great sounding chord voicings. And what we're talking about is we're talking about slash chords. So that's what we're going to talk about on Wednesday, is slash chords, and how you can actually stack chords on top of each other, as well as a chord with a different bass note. So we'll discuss all of that on Wednesday, and of course I'll be taking all of your songwriting, composing, and arranging questions then as well. So until then, folks, I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your weekend and a great next few days. See you then, guys. Bye.